Hello wonderful people, it's Wild here. Today I'll be showing you how to build a frog house inspired by the new 1.19 frogs. I'll be showing you how to build this green frog and then explaining how you can transform this build to create any colour frog you'd like. The materials you'll need for this build are on your screen now. Here is the outline for today's frog house. Now you can see the legs and feet marked in, with the big back feet at the back and then the smaller front legs and feet at the front. We'll be placing blocks over all of these locations so you can put in an outline like this to help you build. There should be a 5-block gap between each of the legs and then a 2-block gap between the front and back legs. And the sections marked in with concrete powder are where we have our carpet going for the feet. We're going to begin our build by starting on the body of the frog. Build up one high with a placeholder block on this point of the foot. Then we'll place oak planks on top of that and build across to the same point on the other side. It should be 7 blocks across and centered on our outline. Once you've got these oak blocks in, we'll switch to some green concrete and build back 2 on either side. Then 1 green wool and another 4 green concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll come in with a green concrete and then fill in the gap with some lime concrete. So we should have a little outline like this. I'll then fill in the rest of this gap with some oak planks. Now that we've got the base of our frog body in, we'll start adding in the walls, and for this we'll need a mixture of green blocks including moss, green terracotta, green concrete, green wool, lime terracotta, green concrete powder, green stained glass, as well as oak planks and stripped oak wood. I'm going to start by coming forward and mixing in this stripped oak wood with the oak planks to get a little bit of texture on the front face of our frog. I've come across the bottom like this. And then I'm going to utilize the texture of the stripped oak wood here, which has the stripped bark texture on all of its faces, to change up the orientation and get more texture into this build. So you can see that on the sides it's 3 blocks high, and then in the center it is just 2 blocks high. We're going to go on top of this then with some green concrete and then some green concrete powder here and here. I'll place some moss on the outer edges and then fill in the remaining gap with some lime terracotta. And you can see this has created a really great frog-like texture for the front of our body. Now I've rotated round to the left-hand side of our frog and we'll start filling in our wall. We're actually going to be building on top of this row of blocks here. I'm going to go in with some green wool to begin with, and then some green concrete powder. I've created a spot for our window here, which is just going to be too long with the green stained glass. And then I just want to surround my window. You can see how I'm mixing in all of these different green blocks to get texture. Now I'll have some green wool on top of here. And then I want to create a transition into the oak texture we've got for the front of the body by placing in some oak planks and then a stripped oak wood. I'll come in underneath with some lime terracotta, and on top I'll go in with another piece of green concrete and a piece of moss. Then I'll move towards the back of our frog and I'll place in some more lime terracotta with a green concrete and a green terracotta on top, creating a little L shape with some more lime terracotta, going in with some green wool, moss, and then I'll fill in the rest of the space with some more lime terracotta. Here's how it should look. Now if you get the distribution of these blocks a little bit different to how I've got it, that's okay, because frogs are little living creatures, so they're going to be a little bit different, and it'll add character to your build. Next I'm going to rotate round to the other side, which is going to be fairly similar, except on this side we're going to have a door. So I'll start at the back here and build in 2 with the lime terracotta, and then 1 with some green concrete powder, and this is going to mark in where we have our door. Now I'm placing this looking from the inside, so we have this little platform to stand on before we enter our build. Next I'll create a frame with the door with some moss, come over with some lime terracotta, and then switch to some green concrete powder. Like this. You can see how I'm creating a gradient from the lightest colors into the darker colored blocks, and that is the kind of thing you want to aim for across the whole build. Once again, creating a transition into the tan color for the frog's stomach. More lime terracotta. And then I'm mirroring this texture on the other side over here. Some green concrete and terracotta. Some wool, concrete powder, and then some more lime terracotta. Here's how it should look. Now we can work on the back of the frog. Here we're going to be building once again on top of these blocks. We're going to come in with some green concrete powder here and here with some wool on top. Create a little U shape with the lime terracotta and go in with some more green concrete powder. Then I'm creating a little V-shaped design starting with a moss block coming up like this. And then you can see the V I've created with the moss. I'm going to fill in the gap here with some green terracotta, and then these gaps here with some lime terracotta. Let's have a look all the way around the build so far. You can see we've got the gradients of textures for our frog going all the way around. And we've got this lovely tan section at the front which provides some nice contrast. Next, let's get adding in our frog's legs, and we'll be starting with the two front legs. These are the same, so we can just go and mirror them. So I'm placing a lime terracotta here and then some green concrete behind it. Then I'll come forward with some green terracotta to create a little L shape like this, and a green wool. I'll build up 2 high with lime terracotta, 2 high with green concrete powder, and then finish off with a green wool in this corner, like this. And I'll create the same thing on the other side. You can see that this first lime terracotta is lined up with this oak block here. That's our first 2 legs in. Now on to the back legs. So for this, we'll start by placing in a green terracotta, then a green concrete, and then 2 more green terracottas. And I'm going to wrap around the outline like this. Then I'll switch to a moss block, and then finish off with 2 green concrete. I've then got a concrete powder going in the corner here, and I'll then build a little L shape over the top with the lime terracotta. Towards the back here, I've got a green terracotta with some green concrete powder on top. And coming towards the back, I'll build across the bottom with the lime terracotta, then a wool, and then a green concrete. Now to fill in this gap, we've got some more lime terracotta. And then I'll need to place in 2 placeholder blocks. You can use whatever you'd like. I'll be using some oak planks, so that way I can place some green concrete in this gap here. Here's how it should look. And I want to create this same pattern on this other side. If you're unsure while you're building here, you can always go over to the other side of your build and check. And keep in mind again that if it's a little bit different, it's totally okay. And I'll come down this way, fill in with some lime terracotta, and then finally some concrete powder in the top. Now we've got all of our legs of our frogs in. Now for the top of our frog, we'll begin by adding in the green section of our eyes. So I'm going to count 3 back, 1, 2, 3, and on this 4th block, I'm going to place in some lime terracotta, and I'll build across 3 like this. I'll do that on both sides. There should be a 1 block gap in between them. Then on top of each of these, I'll place a green concrete, then a green wool, and then 1 more lime terracotta. I'll then build 2 forward on top of all of this, like this. Now to fill in the side, I'm going in with a moss block here, and here, and then another lime terracotta here and here. Now I'm going to switch to some oak trapdoors because we're going to be using some of the green concrete powder, and if I just placed it like that, it would fall. So I'm going to place a layer of oak trapdoors underneath the whole roof of our frog. Now you'll see here I only need to come as far as the eyes because we won't be having any terracotta here, and then I'm also going to place some connecting to the front like this. That'll just give a cleaner look to the inside of our frog. Now we can begin working on the top here. I'm going to start with some green terracotta and build a little U shape like this with a green concrete in the center. Then I'll have some green concrete powder and a little point shape. And like we had on the back of the frog, we want to have it mirrored. Then I'm going to go in with some lime terracotta and fill in the rest of this top of the frog. And I'll be using some moss carpet and green carpet here for details. Alright, so I'm going in with 2 moss carpet here and here, coming in one on either side. Then I've got some green carpet here and here. Now I've rotated round to the front of the frog to add in the eyes. I'm going to come forward with some lime terracotta on these blocks here. Then for the eyes, I've got some smooth sandstone on the 2 inner corners here. Then some black terracotta on the 2 outer corners here. And I want the eyes to be windows, so I'm using some black stained glass. Now we've got a few finishing details to add here, and don't forget to stay tuned to the end where I'll be showing you how you can customize this frog to have a variety of different colors. Now you can see I've broken underneath the blocks here where we've got our door, and I'm going to go and place an oak trapdoor and flip it upwards like this. Then I'll replace the blocks that I broke. We just need to add a ladder here so we can get into our frog house. Next, we need to add some feet to our frog, and this is really going to bring the whole thing together. I'm using some moss carpet for the back feet like this, followed by some green carpet, and then some lime carpet for our frog's little toes. Then on the front of our frog, we're going to use some moss carpet again here, here, and here. Then some green carpet, and some more lime carpet. And I want to create the same pattern on the other side of our frog. Now one thing that you might want to keep in mind is the biome that you place your build in. Here in this lush green biome, you can see that the frog's feet kind of blend in because the ground is so green. So you might decide that for this green frog, you might like to have it in a different kind of biome, or have a different kind of color. And you can see how the feet look so different when you switch to, say, a swamp. You can see how it really makes them stand out. And that's important to keep in mind with any kind of building, is the location that you choose. Now if you do want to switch up the color of your frog, one thing to keep in mind is the tones. So you can change out any of these colors here, the greens and the tans as well, for anything you'd like, as long as you keep the right tones. So where we've got dark here, you want to have a dark in the shade that you're picking. And where we have light, you want to have light. And you can use this technique of swapping out colors to transform your green frog into an orange frog like we have in the new Minecraft update, or create a whimsically colored frog like this blue one here. And you can create a whole village out of frog houses to share with your friends. I hope you enjoyed learning how to build a frog house today. For more information on 1.19 frogs and frog lights, as well as the new mobs in the new update, check out the link in the description down below. I'd really appreciate if you could consider subscribing and check out my Patreon if you'd like to support me further. See you in another video!